Hello there, Libra. Welcome to your extremely late weekly reading. Yes, like I've been saying to the first two air signs, Aquarius and Gemini, the air element seems to be picking up and doing a lot of spiritual warrior work, like for the collective, for the rest of the horoscope. So big thank you to the air signs this week for, taking on the work. Coming through with an opening prayer for Libra. Holy God, bring balance and harmony into this sacred session for Libra. May your spirit of truth reveal what restores peace to the heart and justice to the soul. Let every message reflect your divine order and grace, aligning Libra with the path of love, fairness, and inner serenity. Through your presence, may clarity reign and confusion fall away. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. And here's the rabbit. He's running around, so I'm going to put him back in. He has been helping move the energies, when I'm doing sessions. However, I don't know, I got really wound up in the Aquarius read, so I'm just going to give him a little break. Let's come through with the 4 bodies of existence: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. What are the overall energy spirit for the physical body of existence for Libra this week? There it is. Releasing judgment. So releasing judgment, just overall, people, places, situations, and things, internally, externally, you, other souls. Is it coming from this place? Is it coming from God? Is it coming from there? Like, it doesn't exist. All right, so true love casts out all fear. Again, there is a evolution with your relationship of judgment, Libra. I can see that. But yeah, in regards to people, situations in the external, in the physical reality, or even your physical body, God just says no more judgment. It's not real. It's not. God doesn't send a spirit of confusion. God doesn't send a spirit of fear, right? So in truth, it is awe of God. You're just moving through the paradigm of judgment. And your relationship with judgment. We have the bear energy coming through. Very interesting. So the bear is the earth element and it's in reverse. So, it is this withdrawn, maybe lethargic heaviness. Again, it's coming from any judgments that you have picked up along the way, right? And it's very like eternally now based. Everything is in truth. So it's like going into the bear energy. You may even have resistance to it, but Spirit is showing me, Libra, that you're not waking from spiritual slumber. You may be experiencing spiritual slumber. And it is because you are taking on so much work for the collective and also your personal soul's journey and evolution. You're clearing and casting judgment. We had Gemini clearing like a lot of emotions. Like your Libra are very mental orientated. You receive the gift of understanding and awareness, which is primarily based in the mind, Spirit is stating. So, after a long winter, the bear arises from deep slumber. At first, the movement and effort is difficult, but the bear knows it's time to awaken and move towards the dawning light. The bear card represents an individual on the cusp of new directions and personal transformation. The initial weeks and months of this spiritual guest may feel tricky, cumbersome, and full of obstacles, but you have no choice. A bear winter wanes, the warmth of the spring emerges, and your transformation begins. So there is this intense inner strength that you've been gifted from God and a yearning to grow. Movement and exercise is really going to help move the energy, right? So getting out, moving the physical body, exercising is really going to help you help the collective. Like ultimately you are here as a selfless sacrifice in the image of Christ, and just remembering that you have a soul purpose, you have a mission. It's not all personal and ego based. It really is to help others, right? So we have the 9 of Cups in reverse. So look, I can see in your emotions this happy, euphoric, higher heart activation, this high vibing emotion is coming through and then going away, coming through and then going away, because we have the 9 of Cups in reverse in your emotional body of existence this week, Libra. So again, I really see this dance of like when the emotion, the happy emotion goes away, it's because a judgment has been picked up, right? Energetically, whether it's come from you, from the collective, from another soul, from God. Like, you're just being asked to like empty your cup, cast the energies over and over and over, and God will keep gifting you. Like he's stating like he understands that it's annoying and even frustrating because we just want to be in that happiness, that bliss like all the time. You have you're here for a reason, right? And eternal life is the eternal celebration, the reaping, eternal reaping, right? So you can rest when you're dead. You can rest when you're dead. Ultimately, is what God's saying. He's funny. But yeah, we have the frog. We have the frog. Look, water element coming through in your emotional body existence with the cups representing emotion. It's really good placements. The frog is not in reverse either. You really wouldn't want the frog in reverse, but the frog is not in reverse. So there is a clearing, a cleansing, and a healing going on. There is clear energy and enthusiasm for life coming through your emotional body of existence. So there's other emotions other than happiness, right? There's joy, there's peace, there's enthusiasm. So just like jump on the wave and allow the reception of this clearing and cleansing of your emotional body of existence, this healing, because the frog and the water element are almost inseparable. The frog spends its first months of life entirely within the healing element and then emerges to the rest of the land. But no matter how earthly the frog becomes, it needs the cleansing and rejuvenation. It really needs it regularly. So frogs tend to become overworked and undernourished, so it's vital that such sensitive creatures practice self-care. This card serves as a reminder that water helps us cleanse, forgive, and release. Time to dive in. Frogs aren't meant to carry a heavy load. So it's very interesting because it's speaking on the water element and the earth element. The frog, is a tadpole and then goes out into the land. And, even though I'm an earth element as a Virgo, I have majority water in my chart. So, there's something going on. Could be dealing with another person like this or yourself, but there is a balancing out of water emotions and earth energy, like physical manifestations, even materialism, money. Like there's a lot going on here for you all this week, Libra. But yeah, just chill. Okay, the Hierophant. Very interesting energies I'm getting from the Hierophant as I pull this in reverse in the mental body of existence. You may find it's time to change up, maybe in regards to who you're listening to, spiritual teachers, or how you connect with God. Like there's the releasing of judgment for starters, and then the shift in regards to how you communicate or who you connect to in the spiritual community with the Hierophant. You aren't you're taking the road less traveled, right? You are going through the narrow gate. Like it's harder for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than to get through the narrow gate. So look, releasing the stress, casting the energies to the foot of the cross. But yeah, something has to shift in regards to like maybe the spiritual research that you're doing. It's just something in regards to spiritual teachers, because the Hierophant is in reverse and Spirit is saying like, not necessarily like don't listen to them anymore, just shift it up. Like change even your perception of what a spiritual teacher is, because really only Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. So releasing pride as well, because pride is coming through peacock energy, and the peacock is in reverse in your mental body of existence. So a lot of the times judgment brews from pride, thinking that we know best, right? So really releasing it's just like an evolution of your relationship with judgment and what that means to you. And it is being triggered by the emotion, the energy emotion of pride. So, I can see the souls stepping forth in Libra this week, like you're releasing judgment, like you're, who are the best people to hang out with type of thing, like people that just don't judge anyone. Jesus sat at every table. His disciples, were tax collector, Matthew was a tax collector, Mary Magdalene, a perceived prostitute, this and that. So, it's like you really can mesh with anyone, people, places, situations, and things. And just in regards to your experience, you've released a lot of judgment, like obviously along the way. Most recently, pride within yourself. And you've seen this as a mirror from the external as well. You've seen others in pride and you're like, oh, ew, that's like an ugly energy. You don't want to receive that, because you know the only thing that you'll really take pride in, Libra, is like your inner beauty, the soul that shines through the vessel, moving into compassion. There is like this inability to digest situations at this time. Again, you're not a frog going gulp, gulp, gulp. So, the beauty of the peacock is unrivaled. It's easy to think it comes from the plumage, but the secret of the peacock is that the beauty resides within and extends outwardly indefinitely. So this adept creature can assimilate or digest all experiences in life, but because it's in reverse, there's this like inability to digest maybe resentment, conflict, or past pains within the psyche. So the peacock type is extremely rare. Not many of us have reached this advanced level of acceptance of self and others. So just remember that, because it's in reverse, like it is the essence that is coming through your mental body of existence. It's also how others perceive you. Yes, don't move into pride about it. Again, it's not a judgment. It's just the truth of how your creator created you. Like, there's judgment, then there's discernment, and then there's truth. Right? So truth is the middle path. And that's what you're on, the road less traveled. Spirit is saying, don't give up, keep going, keep putting in the hard work, the effort, especially in regards to the physical, because it's the 8 of Pentacles. So this infinite, the to-do list, the have-tos in the physical. And yes, they can be lit. Like there's this Buddhist statement that says, what did the monk do before enlightenment? Chopped wood and carried water. What did he do after enlightenment? He chopped wood and carried water. The only difference is he was in a state of joy, like it wasn't work anymore. So this is the energy coming through, the 8 of Pentacles in your spiritual body of existence this week, Libra. Like being a spiritual warrior, being a disciple in the image of Christ, it's not meant to be hard, right? Love isn't hard. Love is what everyone is seeking. It's the ultimate melt. And like love is not an emotion. Everything is spirit. Everything is love. You can't define love. You can't measure it. You can't box it and say, oh, it's an emotion, or it's a thought form, or it's an idea, or like it legit is. Isness itself. And perfect love casts out all fear. So we have Panther, as I stated that, coming through. And the Panther energy is kind of like this fear, and because it's in the spiritual body of existence, like fear of a demonic attack, or fear of spiritual, like even witchcraft or voodoo, or like the energy and motion that comes with an evil intent or a judgment, right? Again, like it literally, there's no one judging anyone in truth. So don't pick up the illusion of that there is, because at the end of it, you have to cast everything, every construct, every emotion, every thought to God. So that's why it states, only fear God, because you have to push that energy somewhere. You got to push the energy to the foot of the cross. So there's annihilation of the unnecessary. There's a purging going on. It's upright. So you are moving through it with spiritual bravery, and you're being productive. Just get rid of any unnecessary thought, any unnecessary emotion. Again, just cast it. And anything that's unnecessary, especially like gossiping. The Panther won't stand to see our growth or energy stagnant. And it's interesting because you've got the bear energy in reverse. So spiritual slumber, you may have been around it or picked it up or just been experiencing it, need to like rest. And you got resistance to it, because you've got this brave spiritual warrior energy, right? You're zealous for God, and just there's a time for this, there's a time for that. So instead it pounces into our lives and causes all kinds of havoc with the ultimate intention of bringing us towards more fulfilling lives. It's unexpected, uncomfortable, and sometimes feels devastating, but after all the dust clears, it's easy to see the Panther's wisdom at work. We've all been through these experiences and they've made us better people. Trust that the Panther's journey always leads to a brighter place. So yeah, any trials, traumas, tribulations, any roller coaster changes in the ride, it's all good. And it's not all for nothing, Spirit is saying to Libra. So we have the second power, I trust what my soul desires. So You know, in the Mary Magdalene Gospel, there's 7 powers of the ego, and you'll have pulled out for the oracle to finish up the read today, Libra, is the 2nd power of the ego. I trust what my soul desires. So it is a clinging energy, comes through the title of the 2nd power as well. So according to the legend, Mary crossed the Mediterranean Sea to the south of France on a ship without sails after Christ's crucifixion in order to escape Roman prosecution. 2 other women named Mary were on the ship with her, as well as a little girl named Sarah. Some legends suggest that Sarah was Christ and Mary's daughter. Again, I hate speaking this blasphemy. I knew it as soon as it said go over the sea. I'm going to chuck it in the fire. You all can pick it up if you want. However, what the ego wants is real and powerful, and also part of what it means to be human. We are meant to feel the exquisite suffering of not always getting what the ego craves. We cling to the desires of the ego, most often not even realizing that it's the ego that's driving us to crave so desperately. So, look, it's coming from the flesh, right? And you are going through transcending flesh, because a lot of time we are judging these ego identities, which is, you know, from flesh, from the experience, from trials, traumas and tribulations, the evolution of our environment and our upbringing, right? So the soul is pure, the soul is innocent, and, you know, you're going through this intense awakening to actually perceiving the soul before you perceive the ego identity, which is really beautiful and really powerful. So the 2nd power of the ego is, you know, trusting that your soul has been created to desire. There's a beautiful song by Hezekiah, which one of the lyrics is, God made his desires pure. So not annihilate all desires, but made his desires pure. So you're being asked to have trust and faith that what your soul desires, really get in touch with what your soul desires and trust it, that it's coming from God. So thank you all, Libra. I hope you enjoyed this read this week. Namaste. Amen.